Okay, so, hi Mato, it's nice to see you. Yeah, I know that I kinda goofy roofied, with the title. That was my B. I don't have an excuse for that, I just kinda goofy roofied. Let me just set my other lane auto task, and then I will get started with stream. Alrighty, so how are you, Mato? Did you enjoy Calidor's stream yesterday? I had breakfast before the stream this time. See, big sister is very mature. Oh, you know what I'd like? I should have prepared some chai tea ahead of time, but I didn't want to wait for the stove to heat up. I'll be honest, I don't get what she... I don't want to say that either, because I don't want to be mean. I feel like I'm gossiping about our mutual Oshi, but let me just this, because I know this is really loud, it's gonna drown me out. Look at all those secrets. Look at that 100% completion. I should do this every game, except not really, because that would take forever. I'm not neat, so I don't have that kind of free time, sadly. Oh, do I miss being neat? I want that kind of free time. No, instead I gotta be a dumb, pre-programmed NPC soy-paused wage cock. It sucks. I hate it. Also, I need to know the keybind, the reset position, PC face. But yes, on the topic of the Calidor. Yeah, I should have turned up the transparency before. It looks really good now. I mean, it's hard to notice the colors, and that's going to be a problem with the V3 if I darken the colors. But in any case, I agree. I don't know. She sounds like she can't stand even a second of it, and not to gossip or be mean or anything, but when she was at that puzzle where the chandelier thing had to be pulled up and then lowered, and she didn't understand it, she blamed it on the game. I thought that was a clear point. I wasn't really paying attention to all of them, but that was a clear point where she was just letting her frustrations with the game and impatience, I think, take priority over possible decision making, because I personally thought that one was a little bit obvious. Like, yeah, maybe not the easiest to figure out, but you had that indicator that you were supposed to stand there. You just had to pay attention. And if that wasn't enough, you had the shadow of the chandelier as well, showing a hole inside, and she said it was dumb, but, you know, it had me thinking, like, I think this is the point where you should have just stopped playing the game, because you're letting your frustrations and your qualms against it, you know, how should I say this, negatively affect your willingness to play the game and your actual performance. And that kind of makes for a poor stream, in my opinion. It's something I always had an issue with. This isn't new, by the way. I think gaming YouTubers have always been like this since the dawn of YouTube. Where they play a game and they're not good at it. Or they force themselves to play it and they sound clearly aggravated. And they just can't help themselves but complain a bunch. But, then you're watching this constantly and wondering why this person is playing the game if they hate it. And, I'm not trying to flex when I say this, but this is why I'm kind of picky about the games I play. If I'm not having fun, I kind of quit. But I know when I'm gonna have fun and when I'm not. I know my tastes well enough. This is why I'm very... which is why I'm very particular about which games I even bother to play in the first place. Because for most people, sure, you can say, oh, you can just try it, But for me, that's 60-some hours or some such. If I'm not gonna like it, well, then that's wasted time. And life's too short for that. And with the stream, it's the same thing. Sure, I could pick it up, and sure, I could quit at any time, but how does that look on me as a streamer? And I would absolutely say, I would always argue that it's better to quit the game if you hate it midway than to persevere. You're not getting anything out of forcing yourself to play it, because your viewers aren't having fun at that point. And if you're not having fun, your viewers aren't having fun. And if your viewers aren't having fun, then what's the point? And yeah, sure, I guess sometimes you can kind of milk it for content. Game Grumps certainly did that, but, you shouldn't be... There were YouTubers that did that, but you shouldn't strive to be like that, because then you turn this into just a long struggle. And I resolved to never be that way, because that's all you do. Just kind of drive yourself bald with stress and anger. It's just, I don't know. Am I formatting my thoughts correctly? I feel like they're a little disorganized. But that's what I'm trying to... But I think I hope I got the basic idea across. Yeah, my thoughts exactly. It does make the streams less enjoyable. Yeah, exactly. And, not to be... No, I better not say that. But, yeah, it's something that I've always been aware of. Something I've always seen with YouTubers all across the years. Yu-nee is very young, though. She just is well researched. But that's something I've always noticed, seen, and had a problem with, is just people forcing themselves to. And at that point, it becomes clear that this person is treating it more like a job or anything than anything else. But if it's not a job, and you're not getting paid for it, and you're not getting $1 million bajillion out of playing streamer bait game number 5 million, and, getting rich, and a new Lamborghini or whatever, every time you scream, "Oh, stupid game, I ran off the ledge again. This is clearly the game's fault. The industry sucks. Don't forget to smash that Patreon button and give me all your money so that my wife will come back." Or something or other. If you're not doing all that, then, what are you doing? What's the point? In the words of Reggie Fils-Aimé, the game is fun. If it's not fun, why bother? And sure, I know some people can say, oh, well, The Last of Us guy doesn't say that. He says we don't use the word fun. Yeah, no, you're still getting entertainment out of the story of Last of Us, so I don't think that argument holds water. You are getting some entertainment out of it. If you're not getting entertainment out of your entertainment media, then what's the point? Like, if the food does not nourish you, or at least taste good, why eat it? Then what are you doing eating beetles and dirt? Turning over rocks so you can grab all the bugs and eat them. But that's enough analogies, or else I'll go way off the handle with them. Through that. Thank you. I'm happy you agree. I don't know. I feel bad because like I don't want to roast Calidora. I just want to dump out my thoughts on there because it's something I've always felt passionate about, and it has influenced the direction of my channel, and to an extent as well. Which which I guess might sound a bit pompous, but like, put simply, I guess I make it sound more important than it is, but it's really just, am I gonna enjoy this game? Yes or no? Yes, stream it. No, don't stream it. Druckmann is a big dummy. More like dumb and got him! Put that in the top 20 burns compilation 2027. Hey, are we out here watching this big titty ghost spit out a diss track? I don't know. I'm getting a little more unhinged lately, and I'm not sure if that's a good thing. It's like, sure, it's more entertaining, but I worry that it may or may not have something to do with my lack of sleep, and that's like worrying. Even though players enjoy the game for the story. Even The Last of Us. Oh no, even The Last of Us. Okay. It was on my phone, so I read it poorly. Yes, all moment. Streamer momento. Reads chat wrong. Yu-nee is a good streamer. She goes back and rereads chat. Yes. I gotta get hand recognition. One more thing. Let me just... Okay, there we go. Now, without 14 million bajillion hour just chatting section out of the way. See, that's how you know I'm agency material, because I yap, because I do the same thing all the big, cool, rich streamers do, and that's yap about, I don't know, toilet paper for 5 million hours before pressing start. Welcome to the Interior Worlds Art Gallery. Here you can view various unique and interesting pieces of liminal-inspired photos, art, and music submitted by fans. Grab a coffee, sit back, and enjoy. The way this menu shows up really reminds me of VR chat. But clearly, I'm not in VR chat because I'm not having a child rush past me and yell about mango edits on TikTok or something. See, Yu-nee's in touch. She's hip. She's cool. Hey, little brother, you want a mango? Yeah, mango starts doing laser eyes things in the flame ring effect. Ah, I see your Unk status. For which time he still uses Unk in Big 2025. In Big 2029. Submitted by fan Apterus. Apparently that's a meme. Just look up mango edit and it's like basically YouTube poops but for Instagram. And they start off with the word mango and then lead into like somebody screaming and a bunch of random effects edited in, like the flame ring explosion and the laser eyes and the funny AI voices. Unk is like uncle, which is a way of calling someone old. But yeah. Anyway, Calidor, if by any chance you somehow see this, it's not my intention to like roast you or anything. It's just, something I always had thoughts about regarding YouTubers. Still love your channel. Still love your channel. Still love your stuff. Please don't be upset with me forever. Oh, so brain rot. I mean, yeah, current meme stuff. I'm hesitant to call it brain rot. Like, yeah, I guess it's technically brain rot, but anybody could have said the same stuff about what we call based, about the memes we like. So I try not to, even though they're probably calling it the same thing. Even though kids are probably calling their own memes the same thing, so whatever. Minby fan app tourist. I like this one a lot. That would have been a really cool area in the game. I'm glad these got to be in the game in some way, shape, or form. Because, like, yeah, this is just fan art, but, you know, this would have been a really cool area in the game. All these floating structures, nonsensical architecture. The only thing that's really organized and structured is, you know, this walkway you're on. To remind you that yes, you are still in the same game, and you are still supposed to be in the real world, question mark, but it's increasingly erratic. And you've stepped outside of it, and yet you've stepped outside of the real world into something else, but this is here, so you're clearly intended to be there in some way, shape, or form. I am good at art appreciation. I got a message. You know, there's an artist named Mall, or Type Mall, on Twitter. They're open for commissions now. They do really good stuff. They really like their Opie lollies, but I'm not going to commission them because they charge a lot, which is a shame because, you know, I'd like to commission them, but, you know, if you're charging like over 150 for a full drawing, like, ugh, that's where I gotta pull the brakes. I want a drawing of my waifu, but I can sacrifice a little bit of quality. I need some of my money, you know. Minby fan, howdy, I'm Alex B. What do we think about this one, chat? Imagine going to an art museum like that. Hey, yo, chat, what do we think about this painting? Stares at it for a while. Like, hey, yo, the brush strokes go crazy. Got me on some type of... Oh, you feel? I joke about lean, but lean is on status as well. I like the sun here. I'd imagine this was intentional for it to be as bright and bright and blinding as it is. The dark forest in the house makes a big contrast to the sun here. Like, I guess you're supposed to have something that's very familiar. Something you see all the time. And yet there's this air of mystery, nevertheless. As if you don't know everything about what you thought you knew. Like, sure, this is your house. This is the sun, the sunny sky. This is your street. But how much did you think you know? How much of it did you really know? How much did you really know about it? I can sentences good. I used to be better at speaking. That's the vibe I get off of this, at least. I hope I don't come off as too cringe or too much like an armchair art viewer. 'Cause I'm pretty confident I'm getting everything wrong. Sadly. Stupid zitter. Being distracting. I got a notification again. Stop giving me good straight shoulder. It's distracting. I'm busy doing professional streamer things. Like streaming with a model of a character that I got unhealthily attached to. And losing my chat's attention. Roran Isun dollar seat. Dude. Can't read she on this. Made by Fan Kid Glove. Is that a person? That's scary, dude. Kind of Aquaman looking Enwa. Soulless eyes. I like this though. A place of innocence and youth. Subject to the effects of time like all else. It hasn't gone anywhere, it's still there. The painting is alright, kind of boring. What? The one with the cubes? And that other, or did you mean the one with the sun? That one was a photo. I think Akiola would have a stream where she would look at the finer details of high art. That does sound like an Akiola thing to do. You should do that. You should have her play this game. You should tie her down and force her to play it. I like this photo. Like I said, all that stuff earlier. Innocence, youth, and yet still decaying under the effects of father time. And yet it hasn't gone anywhere. Somehow I get the feeling people still live around here. Around this neighborhood. So it's as if everything and everyone else has moved on from this. A kind of sadness and maturity to it. And maturity just kind of leaves these fun things behind. And so some people forget to be the important part of themselves. I'm not sure when I developed an interest in art. But like I said, I still think... I think part of it is because of Fumo photography. I used to be into that. I used to take a few myself. Now it's still just generic food pictures. But I used to like try and get good landscape photos. I guess that's part of what got me into it. Which I'm not going to turn into a career because I don't know how much these actually hire. But, you know. Like, freelance work is not stable work. You have to realize that. But it'd be nice. But I have, I guess, developed an interest in these things in the past few years. I guess since I was in college. And college is around when you start developing, like, interest. It's like, when you're a kid from anywhere between kindergarten to elementary to high school, that's when you're more likely to just try out a bunch of random foods at the buffet and see if you like any of them. High school and or college is when you start to actually realize, oh, I like some of these foods. And I think it's the same thing with hobbies and interests and time. At least, you know. But all of this is just me spitballing. So if you ask for a source, I don't have one. I'm going to be like, source, yo mama, I don't know. My source is this. Here is my two sources. Rests giant boobs on the table and then the table breaks. Nice argument, Senator. How about backing up the source? My source is that I made it the fuck up. If I kill down and force her to do anything, it'd be more likely the opposite with her tying me down. If you know what I mean. I think cadence is having an effect on me. It'd be nice if my voice didn't sound like a chicken smoker's. Submitted by fan Mr. Frank, but I guess because I keep making noises, that's probably not helping me. By fan Mr. Francis. Oh, that's Gogi. Gogi. The rabbit. You know, I like that you can tell these are all things from the game. You have the rabbit. You have the store closing sign. What I think is the mall. The mannequins. If I am to analyze this, I don't know if I'm right in the sense in saying that the perspective's way off, but it looks to me like things don't quite match up. Like, everything looks straight and uniform here in these first two rows, and then in these three rows down here, it tends to, it starts to slant, or at least this one line looks a bit off, and the eye's directed to it. And I think that's by intention. If I had to guess, I really hope I'm not massively stupid with all this. No art smart guy. I'm just somebody who likes pretty pictures. Please don't yell at me. Nature is sensitive. The perspective is off, and I think that's the intention. Exactly. Like, it is meant to make kind of like these other pictures. It gives you this unnatural feeling that something's not quite right. Yeah, you're in a mall, but where else? But more specifically, where are you? What kind of place are you in? Because you're definitely not in Kansas anymore. You're not in a normal mall. Something's off here. It has this kind of very, very slight surreal quality to it that I think the entire game has wanted to have. And that is kind of central to the themes of this game. It's a very subtle way of conveying that. I like that. And this shadow here, it seems like it kind of cuts off some of this here. This platform on the display area. In fact, yeah, you're not seeing a line of the platform running parallel to this line of the tiles here, this horizontal line. Instead, it's running diagonally. So it adds more to that surreal feeling. Oh, and furthermore, Goji is not subject to the lighting. He glows despite the shadow. Very interesting piece. Very fascinating. I like it. I like art that makes good use of like contrast, and it presents a feeling of discord and a chaotic nature to things. It's somewhat organized, yes, but its chaos is meant to convey something. How should I put this in words? Like it's an orchestrated type of chaos, I guess. And in there lies a meaning. I think I've been trying to do the same with Yuna's design as well, to convey that yandere trait. Kind of give her a sort of chaotic nature to her design, partially to resemble a flame, but, a blue flame, but partially to convey that mental strain and anguish that lies beneath her seemingly comforting surface. Video essayist gonna yell at you. Yeah, basically. Simply. By the way, I fucking hate video essayists. You're not in Kansas anymore. To loss reference? I don't. What does TLOS stand for? Good stream. Oh, you're leaving? Oh, thanks for coming along if you're leaving. Or... No, if you were leaving, you'd probably say bye-bye. In which case, that's might be... Oh, Legend of Spire. Okay. Oh, okay, cool. I had a streamer memento again. Um, good stream. Thank you. I'm happy that people can enjoy this because I really am just some bozo yapping on the internet. So it makes me, I'm sure, a lot of words stated by a lot of streamers, but it's nice to know that I can entertain people. You remember the Legend of Fire? Yes, I forget. See, when we break games down to, what are they called? Anagrams? Not anagrams. What's that term for multiple letters that shorten a long title? But yes, now I remember. Yapping is what makes streams. I mean, true. The Whitehall. I'm running in the museum. I'm running in the museum. Everything's gonna be fine because I'm not gonna crash in anything in the museum. My mom's not gonna get me in trouble. Okay, running feels like it kind of takes away the vibe a little bit. This is gonna be the whitest stream I've ever done, though. None of streamers know this and just assume that pure gameplay is enough to be entertaining, or making stupid catchphrases. Exactly, I think. I don't watch a lot of them anymore. I think they're normally good at yapping. In fact, they can't help themselves. They must yap. But I think it's that they forget the gameplay half of that. Like, they'll have the gameplay, they're just not very good at it. They're making stupid catchphrase. That one, sometimes I kind of want to, yeah. Like, they really want to make themselves marketable, and you can tell it's a little annoying. Wherever I am, I must yap. I yap, therefore I am. Your words of that one philosopher guy in the ancient age of 2019, whose name that I forgot and sucked because I really liked that phrase from him. We learned about it in school, but like, and I know people will be like, oh, didn't you go to school? I'm not reviewing everything I did. I learned in school. I'm doing my taxes, dog. I'm doing my groceries. They don't ask me at the grocery store, who said this in that year? No, they're like, card or cash? When do I fan XYX games? Granted, one can say, I should study that stuff and like, good. Minecraft! Oh! No, I'm joking. It'd be nice if there's a way you could zoom on these. I don't get this one. I want to look at this closer. It's too small. There we go. How do I zoom in real life? Stick your face up to the painting. This one I feel is more of a display of architecture than anything else. This looks like they wanted to make an area from the game in Minecraft, but this area doesn't look like one I've seen. Maybe something of an original area. I'm wondering what's up with this bar here. I think that's meant to be like a light fixture or something, but it looks like it's coming from the painting, and I can tell that's not the case because of this support beam here. But I wonder if that's something they wanted to achieve. It's a nice place. Like, I would sleep in here. It looks cool. Zoom with feet. Oh wait, I have a zoom, but I have never had to use this anywhere in the game, and I feel so silly. If I pull my left trigger, it can zoom, and oh wow, do I feel dumb. I'm here with my good friend Inspector Gadget. 20 bajillion likes. I think I watched that clip and I already forgot about it. I know which one you're talking about, the Mike Matee one. Now, what do we think about this one? The playground's kind of nice. It has this very technological, like, futuristic techno feel to it. Kind of cool. Oh, if I push B while zooming in, I lean back. A lot of black in that painting. It's the brown bricks of Minecraft. And the ones we like placing is wearing fucking Minecraft. Yeah, it makes all the bright colors stick out. It kind of looks like a Tron type of world, you know? I wonder what they meant here. I don't know if I'm not one of those people who likes to say art always has meaning or politics, but I think, you know, everyone wants to make something, even if it's just a surface level thing, like a surface level emotion of like Saber eating a burger. And that was just Saber eating a burger. But they still wanted, you know, Saber to be cute while eating the burger. I think this one had a meaning. I don't know, maybe like an increasingly, I don't like saying the word technological because I never feel like I'm using it properly in a sentence, but an increasingly technology-based childhood. As if play has been, how should I say this? Has been digitized? Which I guess makes me sound like a ranting boomer, but that's the vibe I'm getting off of this. The windows. I'm not sure if these are buildings off to the side or trees, but I kind of like it. Gives a strange feeling that I'm not sure what they are, and they're just people staring into any one given world from anywhere at all, seemingly spawning in. Perhaps indulging in something. Perhaps grasping at an innocence through technology. Maybe looking for nostalgia? Perhaps the reason why we play this game entirely. I like this one. This one's good. They're really good. Staring into an interior world, if you will. Say that again? I have such a headache. Do you have any medication you can take? Submitted by fan. Dun, 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 dun. Dan to Dan reference? Okay. This one I don't get. This one just looks like a normal photo. And it's admittedly a very nice looking place. But it doesn't look terribly... Well, it looks kind of liminal, actually. I mean, you have this sidewalk, road, possibly a bike lane, but there's nobody here for some reason. And the place isn't worn down and left to time. It looks quite nice and lived in. But you don't get any signs that there's somebody here. And I suppose that kind of... How should I say this? This area that is clearly meant for people, yet with no signs of current inhabitants. The current habitation. Yeah, it does give it that liminal feel. There are supposed to be people here. I mean, people set up this fence, all these brick structures, stairs, planted these trees, put up that sign, and yet they're gone for some reason. You know, I didn't give this one a good shake. It is kind of a liminal piece. It doesn't give me that same sort of, I guess, casual, how should I say this? You know how when you look up liminal photos, something's slightly off, and in the sense that it wasn't taken by a professional painter, a professional photographer. BRB, I'll take some paracetamol. Okay, see you when you get back. I hope you feel better. It doesn't have that same, unprofessional feeling as most liminal space photos have, where, it's slightly at an angle in some way. Things aren't aligned. You can really tell that it was just taken by some random person, like in the 90s, with a crummy, over-the-counter disposable camera. That sort of thing. This doesn't quite give me that same vibe. But I think the way they held the camera, where they centered things, is pretty good, because it gives you a wide shot of just the surrounding area, the stairs going up and that do still lead into something, these things moving down. And if they moved this camera off to the left or right in any which way, it would be lost. You would lose that balance of what's being shown. I suppose the only casual nature to it that I can think of is the fact that this wasn't in the middle of the road. But once again, I do feel that it's for the better. Oh, welcome back, Mato. I hope the pill helped you. I do think keeping the camera out of alignment was all for the better, because as I said earlier, this balance between where these two lead would be lost. But maybe I'm just overanalyzing things, and I know it's kind of annoying, at least for me it's kind of annoying, to hear people say, oh, maybe I'm just overthinking things, and then hit the nail on the head when they start quote unquote overthinking things. Like, and then they interpret everything that was intended. But, I'm not a confident sort, and I'm not very smart, so I'm probably actually misinterpreting things. Like, I wouldn't say this if I had a degree in art appreciation or something, but I don't. I'm just some yapper on the internet, so yeah. I'm gonna stop with the self-deprecating comments, but I like this one. I like this photo a lot. Very nice. I like this ambient music too. Nice. Where does this lead? The red hall? No photos or video allowed. Blue hall. Green hall. Now, I guess it's about how they don't let you take cameras in here, but I also get the vague feeling they probably don't want me streaming this. This is gonna be a longer stream than I expected. Made by fan Police Spallin, so I might have to speed things up a little if I want to get to that extra area. This one's interesting. This seems like something you'd be into, Mato. I know how much you like pixel art. Now, why does the bathtub float, I wonder? I think the band-aids that are cracked up. Now, I'm not exactly sure if I can infer much meaning from this, or tell what they were going for. It looks like it's just a bathroom made by a person who really doesn't want to replace their bathtub, but it looks nice. It has a feeling like old backgrounds in video games, and like, I think point and click games, where they got a little avant-garde with the art sometimes. Loving the band-aids detail on the cracks. We have a ship, a coral reef, I think? A river? A body of water, a pond, some flowers. A hand pointing up. Is that a low-tier god reference? That better not be a low-tier god reference. Because I'm just now realizing, wait, the hand is black and there's... Is that lightning? Hey, kind of like, oh, low-tier god, you know, points up and says, you need to kill yourself now. Might be a low-tier god reference, but I'm going to err on the side of caution. Let's see, something looks like a map. Can't quite tell. Moss? Trees? It looks cool, yeah. It look cool, yeah. I'm glad you think so. Not sure what this is. Sunrise? And a banana. Oh, there's something over here. Not sure what that is. Like an aquarium? Like something submerged. This is a little too smart for me. But I'm confident there's a meaning. Fruit making that ashen baby face by the looks of it, and a little snake. Quite an experimental photo. It's very nice. Made by Bayonet Fully Fallen. So we can probably go there and see if we can find the post and maybe anything they wanted to say about it regarding what they were trying to convey. So I'm gonna check out this photo. Before I do that, I wanted to ask, which hall do you want to go down first? Green, blue, or red? And you can give me your answer whenever you're ready. Oh, there's couches here. That'd be nice in art museums. That way you can look at it from afar. Ah, I see. Gotta make some use out of that. This one's interesting. Submitted by fan Remfay. This one feels kind of very abstract. I'm feeling blue today. Like blue is in sad or the blue hall. Sleep. This one's interesting. I like the skull. And the way it's like just one half, but they take one half of it, move it over a little, and then warp the colors all the way into something else. And I think that is the same bit of the skull off to the left, but the blue hole. Okay, cool. But with the colors just warped and having this line, kind of gives you a transitional feeling. Like, yes, the skull is falling asleep, but now it's moving into something very chaotic. The untamed world of dreams, perhaps. But why a skull, I wonder? Does it mean that the dead sleep in a very strange alien world? Does it mean sleep is akin to death? We can only think and wonder. We're gonna distance ourselves a little bit. Look at it from afar. Give some respect to the artist and look at it from these different perspectives. Yeah, it definitely gives this feeling of like a kind of discord inside this skull that only amplifies over time. Now what is this, I wonder? Just probably something more of the skull, but it looks like a creature almost, which I quite like. I'd imagine that's intentional. I should go to an art museum. I haven't been, but the last time I did was a good long time ago. And it had me uninspired because oh, what was that just now? Not because the art was bad, but because they all felt like, you know, very basic pieces. Like, oh, you know, you're Van Gogh, you're Da Vinci, but like, you know, you've seen all that before. I want to see some new stuff. Eagle in your mind. Oh, these are all him. It's nice that they actually made a museum map too, right? This is a good way of showing off fan art. I think games should have stuff like that. This is nice. This one's kind of spooky. I wonder why it's red towards the end. A feeling of doom, or perhaps a proper destination, or just highlighting it. Or just a funny way of putting natural human needs into game mechanics. Like highlighting how really badly you have to go to the bathroom. This yellow square sticks out. It doesn't seem like it's subject to the same color editing effects here as the rest of the painting. And I wonder why. I guess they went... I don't know if that's edited in. I think it was actually in the hallway in the photo that they took. And they probably knew it stuck out like a sore thumb, so they wanted to amplify that in a sense. To what end, I'm not really sure. But it's interesting. It's a bit grounding in a way. Helps the painting from feeling too abstract. And there's these exit doors. And these are probably normal, so I won't analyze it too much for a meaning. In terms of its architecture, it's the colors that I think are pulling the weight here. I like how you can see the lights sort of extend past this hall, which I know is just lights reflecting off the walls here, but it makes it look like you're kind of seeing through the walls into the bathroom. Because these look like the kind of bathrooms that extend to the side, to different areas. It's nice. I like it. I like most of these. Now this one's... oh. So this looks like those photos you'd be more likely to see in those liminal space compilations. Like, if you've ever seen those around YouTube, liminal spaces set to strange music or something. Something along those lines. This looks like one of them. I don't know how much of this is edited. It could be, because I remember watching a video of a guy who made a liminal space photo. Took a picture of a neighborhood, edited it a certain way, and made it look like it was a neighborhood that stretches on into nothingness. And I wonder if this is the same thing as well, because some of these look a little too similar to each other. You have these little bar things extending out, but they're perfectly arranged. All these things look too clean, like these white things on the side look almost identical, but at the same time not so, because this one's flat and this one seems to, you know, stick out a little bit. It looks like a real place. I don't know if this was edited. This looks like a real place. Made a liminal space photo. Ho ho ho. My liminal maid. Liminal maid actually sounds like a fire manga title. This sounds like a cool mall. This looks like a cool mall. I'd like to be in here. Get on our hands and knees so we can look it properly. Eagle in your mind. These are good. These are good displays of architecture. I like this one. There's nobody here though, which I imagine is intentional. But it makes me wonder how they achieved it, how they managed to get this photo, and yet at the same time, I don't think I have to look too far dig around in my brain too far for that. Liminal Maid, the latest manga of the month. Slice of life about a maid who has to clean up liminal spaces. I would actually read that. That sounds really good. Like, yeah, simple, silly, but I mean, that's kind of my thing, so like, yeah. Like somebody tell me, bro, Golden Corral is junk food. You should be eating proper 5-star meals. Like, what's a popular Dan? What's a popular shonen these like? Dan, I guess. Or is hype moments in aura like okay, but I like this food anyway, so I'm gonna keep eating it. This one's nice. I like the little pig cupids, I think. Are those pigs? They look like pigs. Yeah, they're flying pigs. That's cute. A funny little detail. A lot of character in that. All these areas are dark. It must have been closed off for the time being. Oh, you can see it's worn too. Stuff practically falling off. Oh, there's tiles on the ceiling. Okay, so they must have managed... This wasn't just after it closed. This was after the mall closed down entirely to the public. And they managed to somehow get this picture. And I think... I don't know how people do that. But... I think I heard that, like, sometimes you can buy stuff out of malls on auction. And they'll let you in afterwards. But this is when malls are closing down. And they'll let you get like that, oh, I don't know, that chair that you wanted in the auction. They'll let you go in and grab it. And that's how this YouTuber I used to watch, he would explore malls. That's how he gained access to some of these abandoned malls. Just look up abandoned mall, something like that, and you'll find him eventually. Hero Academia and Jujutsu Kaisen. Really, Hero Academia? Because, like, that one's over, isn't it? Demon Slayer. Are they still reading Demon Slayer and Attack on Titan? Abandoned Mall. Come on. Abandoned. Bright Sun Films was a good one of them. Proper people. Come on. Exploring with Josh was kind of cool. There's one that I did not like that much. Who makes these very avant-garde videos. He explores malls, but he also just keeps breaking everything up with random clips of like 8 old commercials, and then it gets annoying because any intention, well, you know, he takes away from the focus of the mall. He's trying to put you in the mood, but you know, just kind of keeps doing it over and over, and it's just, he gets a little overboard. It's annoying. Abandoned. Cheers, come on. Bright Sun Films is pretty good though. I'd recommend them. They do a lot of nice mall exploration. Retail archaeology. That was the one. Now, he doesn't do as many mall explorations anymore. It's more like just regular stores. But retail archaeology is one I used to like a lot, because he would have explored these kinds of things, be it stores or malls, and he kind of ran out of malls to document that are, you know, within reasonable driving distance for him. But, you know, he does those. And so now it's just smaller stores. But you should check out his old stuff. I'd like to happily recommend him. I like the stuff a lot. I still think it's pretty good. He seems to do a little bit of research and, you know, casually yaps about what happened with the stores. It's a nice little first step into, oh, I don't know. Say he's talking about Sears and what went wrong with it, you know, he'd give you some basic information, and after that, if you're done with that video, you want to know more about Sears, you can, you know, look up more stuff about Sears. But, you know, it's a nice casual look at shut down stores. Flying pigs cute. Agreed. I like these whimsical little things in malls that they don't seem to have anymore. And this reminds you of the topic that I brought up and forgot to talk about. But I was going to say that I was going to muse about how I don't know the majority of the American stores, to be honest. He introduces you to them. He'll like give you the quick rundown on what they are. So say Joann's are closing down. He made a video about those. He'll tell you about, you know, what Joann's was, I think when it started, what use it served, how people like it. You know, he's very casual about it. All this while filming footage of the inside of a Joann's that he's wandering around. So you don't have to know it. He'll fill you in on it. Bright Sun Films, I think, is like the higher advanced one, where it's not going to hit the same unless you know it, because I don't think he really has as much introductory material on it. He doesn't fill you in on that, but I haven't watched them in a while. I could be wrong. Why am I already hungry? It's been like 2 hours since I ate, and I ate a lot. I guess because it's the morning and I sped up my digestion. But anyway, the topic I wanted to bring up, it was about how this guy might have gone into the closed down mall. I don't have to think that hard to ask myself that question. And even though this answer is no longer relevant, I still want to bring it up. It's that sometimes there are malls that are really not doing so well. There's one back in my hometown that I really liked that I'm not going to give the name of. Don't want to dox myself. But, you know, it had a bunch of character. The architecture, the interior decorating, maybe not the architecture, but the interior decorating had so much character and life and color put into it. It was so beautiful to look at. You know, you could enjoy it no matter where you looked, because the store, there was more of a main draw than just the stores. It was the beams, the light fixture, the furniture, all of these things. It wasn't all just grayed out so that it could divert your eyes away from the way the mall was built to the stores. No, the mall itself wanted to look nice, or they wanted the mall itself to look nice. And I love it to death. I love that mall. And it's not in a good state, last I remember. There aren't a lot of people there, and it sucks, because the stores there were cool. There was like a cool PC type of store that hosts LAN parties. It had a bunch of computer monitors. There was an anime store. I loved that one. It got replaced with another one that has like a higher focus on yaoi, which, you know, by all means, great. It had like a small little history museum with a bunch of props, mannequins wearing the uniforms, that sort of thing. A bomb at ice cream shop. Like, my goodness, that ice cream was so good. A cool little like concert venue area in the middle of the mall, in the food court, where people could or musicians could perform, and there would even be very small scale anime conventions host anime artists. And, you know, a lot of it was like cartoonists and stuff. But what are you talking about? I'm talking about the mall. Wait. Yeah, you know what? I got a little off topic. I was thinking about this picture, and I wondered how he got access to this old abandoned mall. And I was musing on a mall that I like. That, yeah, I got way off topic. Might be, this mall that I like, there aren't a lot of people there, but I was prefacing again. There aren't a lot of people there. It's a really cool mall, but at any point in time, usually on a weekday, especially on a weekday, you can go in there and take a photo that would be kind of like this, because there's just not a lot of people there. You know, it's a really cool mall, but it's not one people appreciate as much. So you can take this kind of photo because there's just not as popular. You know, I've been wondering whether or not I'm on the spectrum, and it's moments like that have me thinking, like, oh, okay, you know what, I might actually be on that spectrum. If I'm going to finish up the topic on that mall, it was a great mall. I loved it to death, and I'm hoping to move back to my hometown soon. And if I do, I hope that mall's still up. I really want to go there. I really liked it. Sorry, but how long are we going to go on about this mall? I'm done, actually. I'm just passionate about this one. I'm just passionate about that mall. And about just, like, abandoned stores, I guess. This one, ooh. I like this one a lot. This gives that, like, abandoned childhood feeling. I wonder how much of this is edited, but it really gives that surreal feeling. You know, this kind of reminds me of something. You ever watch the finale of Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared, where the yellow guy goes up into the attic, and there's like these stained glass windows, and this woman in the middle playing a piano, and she has a little dollhouse with all the different characters on different levels of the house. This kind of vaguely reminds me of that. It has this... Yeah, I did watch it. Oh, you did? Cool. A friend of mine really likes it. I'm not into it as much myself, but that finale did stick with me. And this is what it reminds me of. Oh, I see that. I like that. That feeling. Is that decay, or is one of the tiles missing, or maybe it's probably just hard to see because of the sunlight. I really liked it as well. Yeah, it's a shame that they had to rip away the yellow guy's intelligence, because I really wanted to know more about it, and then they just kind of ended the show. It was really well made. And a lot of the show just sticks with you. It does. It's that very bizarre feeling to it. It's existential, or yes, that's the term. That is how I would describe it. That I grasped and or straws and words. But I couldn't describe it properly. But existential horror, I think, is a great one. A great way of it is exactly what it is. Yes. I can words well. I get so passionate about things sometimes that I can seemingly explain stuff well, and then I can't. But this one, I'm gonna draw the meaning from it. It really does give off the impression of, like, and yeah, I guess it's on the nose about it, but a kind of isolated, thrown away childhood. Everything else still shines on it, but everything else is gone. Almost like it's one of the last things existing in a person. Perhaps an innocence persevering in something closing in. The question remains, what happens when the sun stops shining? Where then does the innocence go? Is it left to rot? Just like all else in this person's mind. One wonders with dread. I don't think much about my childhood anymore. I think about mine a lot. Partially so I don't forget. Partially because it makes me sad. Not like I had a rough childhood. I wasn't like super duper turbo mega raped by a million pit bulls with super rape dildos and red rockets that have spikes coming out of them. Like, I don't have any of those super terrible stories, but but most of my sadness was kind of self-inflicted, and I have a lot of regret over that. And then I think back on why I did the things I did, and I remember that if I did things any differently, I would just be reminded of why I was in my shell in the first place. But by Fan Solace Raptor. This one's interesting. Wonder what they mean here. I might have to speed things up because I'm already at like an hour and 11 minutes. I still want to get the other area, but very mysterious household. You know, it kind of makes me think of like Pen Pal. You know, like the guy would spy on the house and send pictures to the kid. Wonder what they meant with this. Because I guess the idea is that it could be the viewer's childhood home, but I'm not so sure. Because these are behind bushes and trees that give a kind of peering feeling, like somebody's spying on this place. But now I wonder, what significance does this hold to the viewer? Is this their childhood home now being overtaken by brush and growth? By trees and bushes? Or is this the home of a stranger that yearned for something this home had, but they didn't? I need me a good creepypasta. Reminds me of Pet Sematary a little. I remember Pet Sematary. That one was interesting. That was like the Stephen King book that I read that I actually started to see the appeal of. I read some Stephen King books, and I liked most of them, but then when I read it, I really didn't like it, but I don't remember how many I read. I think I read Misery and Pet Sematary, and I should have read Cujo. But those last two I mentioned, I think those were pretty good. Pet Sematary and Misery. But I don't know, it just felt like really boring to me. Did you see the movie? Which one? So the movies of Misery, Pet Sematary, and Cujo all very recently. I only saw the one for Misery. And didn't she use an axe in the book, and then they changed it to a sledgehammer? I'm not sure why they did that, but I guess they have their reasons. Submitted by fan Wickwave. This one's interesting. Now, why, I wonder, do the trees look like walls? Why does it blend in? Does it perhaps mean nature and man encroaching on each other? Or perhaps, if I had to guess, that aged buildings are a sign of time, almost seemingly as natural and frequent as the trees themselves. I wouldn't say this is nature reclaiming man-made structures or reclaiming the earth, because this building is behind the tree. Or maybe, well, the tree is in front, so maybe that's what they mean. I wonder. Or perhaps that man-made structures would replace the trees, and that's why it fills up so much of the frame. I wonder. Misery, a good example of stan culture. Yeah, a very modern point to make. Because, oh boy, is it true. Oh, there's more. The Neb Street. Cujo was a good natural horror. Pet Sematary is a good sort of dark supernatural horror, but not a cliched way, if that makes sense. No, I think I get what you mean, because, like, it did make you feel like all of this stuff was somewhat natural, but not entirely so, because it was isolated to one specific area. So something has to be wrong with the Pet Sematary, and why else was it is only the cemetery that causes it, and yet everything these corpses say, you know, it does give off the impression that these are natural beings. Well, supernatural beings that would have always been this way. I like this one. This one's... that's like wilting flower. Like perhaps the life is leaving this room. Makes me wonder if this is meant to convey somebody passing away. A bed no longer slept in. And flowers growing over what would be somebody's resting place. Left to the dark. That's what it makes me think of. Oh, we have a cemetery. And this one's in a game, too. Like, all of these are in games. This one's interesting. I'm not getting a lot of meaning from this, but it is nice. I like the rustic feel to this game, like very old. That it should take place in a graveyard is in an odd way, I think, fitting. Like, oh, I don't know. Like you're in a relic of an older time. And seeing how much else died with it in this old place. As if anything made with this art style would itself be a ghost town. What a coincidence. Cemetery! Pet Cemetery reference? Let me check Discord real quick. Somebody send me a message. Oh. Oh, my Oshi is streaming. Okay, a lot of supernatural horrors are just ghosts or demons haunting people for the heck of it. I mean, yeah, really. Or like they have a grudge that they need to settle, but like, you know. In Pet Sematary, the characters do investigate the events that happen. And the idea of a pet cemetery itself is pretty spooky too, like a place where children put their dead pets. Because we have all had that tragic point at which our dog or bunny or fish died. Yeah, exactly. So it speaks to that nostalgia. I think a lot better than it did. It, the clown, did, because this one's interesting. A lot better than It the Clown did, because it was kind of on the nose about the nostalgia thing. Like, I know, oh, you never expect the cute, funny, silly clown guy to be evil, but it doesn't really age well because that caught on so well that now everything it did, it could achieve as a story, as a sort of like novelty to its novel, is now gone. Like, sure, oh, but this is where it all started. Yeah, you can say that. But that's not... I don't think it matters anymore. And unless you, the reader, are going to care about that, it's not going to matter as much to you when you've seen... You know, if you read it much later, much after this, like, clown scare thing happened, it's not going to affect you as much, because by that point, it is just the 58th piece of media, horror media about clowns that you've consumed. And all the 57 prior to that, you probably aren't as scary anymore. Now it's just, oh, another horror slasher type of villain, like a ghost, a Frankenstein monster, you know, whatever. But Pet Sematary has that personal feeling that I don't think Hollywood has touched as much. They absolutely could. They could take this idea and just put it into more movies. But it would be harder to get around that in legal terms. It has that personal feeling towards just about everyone. And I think you're right in the sense, I do think it was a lot scarier, because it seems something a lot more insidious than you might initially think. So I think you hit the nail on the head very well. I agree with what you said very strongly. It is pretty rated, in my opinion. I agree. Yeah, everyone now copied the Killer Clown from it, and the payoff is just lame. Exactly. Like, it was scary the first time. Do it 50 more times and it stops being scary. And I don't know how people keep watching this. I think just because it's a horror movie, so they don't care. But I don't know how many of them think it's scary because it's a clown. They think it's scary because it's a horror movie about a guy that, I don't know, anal rapes you with a chainsaw. I just don't like kids as horror pro tags either. Me neither. Because sometimes they're just... I don't know. I guess horror pro tags are just kind of scummy sometimes, but kids can especially be scummy. Like, oh, huh, we'll just lock somebody in the room as a prank, and then they get like turbo murdered or something. I don't know. The 89 version of Pet Sematary is a really great performance of Judd. I'd have to see who Judd was. It's been a long time since I read it, but I have to watch that movie again. My drawing of Pennywise card is objectively the best version of Pennywise. Exactly. I have not seen that one, but I agree. I like this one. Well, I don't know if I can tell what this one's meant to mean. Like, the light over... I don't know if this one has as much meaning. Maybe I'm wrong, but I can't derive as much meaning from this one. Like, the floor and the tile and the curtains are difficult to really see much detail in. But the toilet and the shower all look really nice. But what gets me is this corner here. It looks kind of spooky, and it almost looks as if these curtains are decayed, and the rest of this room is exceedingly dark. And it has me wondering, who's in there? Well, who's in this place? Why is the rest of this so dark? But the shower is the only thing that's illuminated. Very mysterious. I can send the drawing you sent it. Judd was the old guy. Ah, okay. I'm struggling to read this, but I like what you did with the font. It's like very scribbled in. I think font has potential to really drive home a certain personality. I think that's the intention of fonts. But I don't think I've ever seen this used in a book I've read. Like, ever. It's always this uniform font. But this is nice. I kind of like this very monstrous look you gave, the spider-like leg, the features. One thing I don't want to... I'm going to trying to be gentle. I like what you do with your art, in the sense that, like, sometimes things are very chaotic and intense on them. And I really hope your art can improve someday, because you have great ideas, and I want to see them conveyed even better. Like, you're really good at monster girls, so I want you to be able to be better at drawing so you can draw even better monster girls. This painting reminds me of that Candid Camera SCP. Laugh is Fun, I think it was called? Do not ask Yu-nee what SCPs are. Do not ask me about SCPs. I do not know SCPP. But I guess I don't really know. I'm really not in tune with SCP. This one's kind of cool. This one just looks like a normal place. I don't think there's much meaning to it. But you can tell this place is kind of abandoned? Seemingly? But somebody's living here. This is a nice car. I don't know, maybe they're just... I don't know, maybe they're just negligent. Or maybe they're an urban explorer. You know, I think that's what's going on here. There's like an urban explorer, maybe. Maybe, which I think is kind of interesting. Thank you, I'll try my best. That's good. I'm glad I was able to get that meaning across without sounding mean. But I think that's what's going on here. That, or just somebody who's negligent about their windows. Or perhaps a not so nice house with a not so nice circumstance. PS2 painting, no shadow on the car. Oh, you know, I didn't even notice that. Huh. And considering all these other two paintings, which had a lot of light. Huh. You know, I think that might have been by intention, too. That does raise questions. I don't know what they meant with that. Maybe the R is meant to be somebody who doesn't belong. 12:05 a.m. Oof. big plants, but I like that it's the inside of a house that's... I guess it's a reclaimed by nature type of thing, but I like that it's inside the house. You normally don't see that type of thing. Not from inside a building, or... I mean, you do sometimes in movies. But I think what's the draw is normally the outside, or like what you see most often is the outside of a building. It's not until you watch a movie about this that they have them going inside a building. But then again, video games have done that too, so maybe I'm wrong. Oh, submitted by fan Lupus Sicarius. Right, I gotta see the credits. Solace Raptor. Would Monster Girls tell ghost stories? I always wondered about that. That's a good question, actually. Like, I can kind of see them doing that. Maybe Monster Girls... you know, I think it would depend on what kind of setting you've got here. Like, are Monster Girls naturally occurring, or are they supernatural? So, like, maybe take some of the natural species from MGE, for example. Like, we're not talking about hellhounds. Say we're talking about slime girls, about whole stores, or harpies or something. I can kind of see them telling supernatural horror stories. If supernatural stuff does not occur very often in their world. But it would depend entirely on the setting. Or you could have supernatural characters tell, like, cosmic horror stories. And give you the impression that there's something even stronger and even scarier out there than them. Which would be very interesting. What about my own setting? It would depend on 1,000%, I think, on whether or not you would want to do that. And the thing is, you already have a vampire too, and that gets kind of supernatural. But unless you want to start explaining that in terms of like a natural biology, give the reader the impression that vampires can and do occur naturally and they're not the product of a supernatural curse, then that would steer the direction of these stories and the explanation for them. If I'm making sense, if I'm getting my words, if I'm wording good, it depends on a number of factors. I like the cosmic horror one. Karako isn't really a supernatural vampire, more a natural vampire. Okay, so then that would determine a few different things, a few different directions you have to take and choices you have to make. Like, so then these supernatural stories are indeed possible. There is an element of unknown and unexplainable in their setting that, you know, that there could be one, is what I'm trying to say. The only explicitly supernatural character is here, but she's a side character, so I don't know. Oh, actually, there's Yoshiko too. Yeah, so I think that would take some thinking on your part, because, like, if you have these supernatural characters, you can still, you know, have them tell stories of, like, different things, different phenomena. So, like, I want to know, the genie can tell horror stories about, like, aliens or strange shuffling silhouettes off in the distance in a forest. Like, they can still have unknown, but I think you have to take into account what is known. And how do I put this in words? So you have what is known, right? But you'd have to think about, if you want to have an element of the unknown, you'd have to think about the nature of it. And how unknown that could be in the eyes of the known. So how foreign and alien would this shuffling silhouette in the forest be to this genie, and how much of a threat would it be to them? Like, why should they be scared? This is something I actually have to think about. Like, I want to think about it more. This is really distracting. Very good topic. It's just, you know, I also have this I gotta focus on. But that's a really good one. That's a good question. You'd have to. That would take a lot. I think if you want some kind of reference material. Well, I was gonna say watch some kids shows about like, oh, I don't know, supernatural type characters, like, oh, I don't know, witches, wizards, unicorns, whatever, like, I don't know, My Little Pony or something, and see what kind of horror stories these characters tell. But I don't know if these are, I don't know if that's good reference material, because like even they would tell stories about ghosts or something, but then you would be left to wonder, if you think about it for a little bit, why should this spell-slinging unicorn be scared of ghosts? But for something a little more adult like what you're making, it requires deeper thought. So I think this is kind of straying with this philosophical territory. Oh, actually, who I very explicitly made a J horror ghost, but maybe they would tell alien horrors. I actually like your suggestions. Like Pokemon? Pokemon's one of them, but I don't know so much about Pokemon, because you know for a fact they're going to be telling horror stories of like ghost type Pokemon. Like not Pokemon. I'm thinking more like My Little Pony, I guess. But I really don't know, because a lot of these always like the explanation of, oh, but it was something easily explainable. It was just this funny little gremlin guy who trips over the shoelaces, and the abandoned place is his house, and he's just very messy. Oh, silly us, there's no such thing as ghosts. But then there was a ghost at the end, or whatever, but I don't know. I like your suggestion. Thank you, because I forgot what my suggestions were just now. Lupus Sicarius. I like this one. One's I don't know if that's meant to be a logo in the background. Kind of looks like the fairy tale logo, but this one's interesting. Everything looks uniform, actually. It looks like the entrance to a place. You have the walls, floor, all seems to decay. As if everything goes from natural to unnatural quite quickly. Interesting. I'm gonna try and speed things up a little bit because I still want to get to the other area. Cold drinks. My fan Glyphics. This one seems pretty simple. I don't know if there's a whole lot of meaning here. It's just, you know, few things existing in an area. Some chairs, some drinks, trash can, plant. I like the green as it's more of an example of interior decorating, I think. It's not so much a liminal space, but something kind of odd looking. But it has some kind of character, albeit basic, even if it does seem like we just kind of shoved some stuff somewhere. But it's nice. I like the green wall against the drinks and the plant. Gives it something gives it the impression that somebody wanted a natural look to this. Their suggestions were to have monster worlds have horrors like Shadows in the Dark and Cosmic Horrors. Okay, I remember the Cosmic Horrors one. I just wasn't sure if I threw out a bunch of other ones because I yapped and yapped and yapped a bunch, and I was like groping around in my brain for... Oh, it's made by Fanglyphics. Okay. I was groping around in my brain with this issue because like I realized like, oh snap, he dropped a bombshell on me. What the heck? What do I fan? Cinebestie. I suppose it's somewhat in character for a character like Mado to ask you such a groundbreaking question. I like this one. You know, this does remind me of some like secondhand stores. They're not usually like this. They're actually kind of crowded because they try to make the most of what they have. But I think I've been in some from time to time that just kind of have a lot of space in between things. And you can tell they're just trying to make it look like they have more than they do. Oh, the ceiling's decayed. I don't like... That's kind of yucky. But I like this. It feels very... These... I feel like these are the ones that feel a little natural. I don't know if... I guess these have meaning to it that I'm not picking up on. But these feel more like they could be places anywhere. And the fact that they're in a game... The fact that this one is in a game is kind of interesting to me. Like, it could be in a place somewhere. It's not. But it kind of gives you that impression that, yes, this is... You're meant to believe, at least while looking at this picture, that yes, this is a real place. No. For the sake of the picture. It's creating an environment. Much like a drawing. I like it. This is good. One of my fans, Neb ST. So we have JD Vance over here. Now this hallway is kind of spooky. You have the little flooring panel things. You have a door here. And possibly another door? Maybe another door? But there's this feeling, this foreboding feeling to it, that everything's so dark and yet the light seems to gravitate towards this painting, but only one side. Not the left of it. I wonder why. Maybe something's meant to be hidden, but this is the focus? Or perhaps this person has something to hide. Ooh, I do wonder. Ah yes, JD, Europe is our great enemy. The greatest enemy, Vance. I'm gonna be real. Anytime I see somebody with a chonky face and some facial hair, I just assume they're JD Vance at this point. And if you don't agree, if you don't feel the same way, you have not seen enough JD Vance edits. Because sooner or later, after you see enough of them, you will come to associate those physical features with JD Vance variations. JD Vance is no longer a person, he is a concept. And he exists in many people. Send me the funny edits. I don't have a lot of them. I don't think I actually saved any. The ones I sent you in the past were all the ones I picked up on, but I'll have to look them up, and I think it'll hit for you a certain type of way if you discover the world, the JD Vance verse yourself, and how far it reaches. Made by fan Eagle in your mind. Now why is he sad about the paint? About the plants? I like how this extends outwards to the back. This one's definitely an abandoned place. Now, whoever drew this graffiti might have just been there and maybe just some random person made it, but it's interesting to me. The sad face on there. I'd imagine what Eagle wanted was for the viewer to pick up on the impression that somebody's sad about this place. Maybe they were always sad about it, or maybe they're just sad that it's being lost to time. And they're expressing their sentiments as the last clear sentiments of humanity. They lost out on something and now they're sad about it. Maybe I'm overanalyzing. Sad face. This is where I lost my goon cave 50 million years ago. Purple Hall. The main hall. Oh, yeah, we gon'... Okay. Okay, yeah, we're gonna have to speed things up if we want to keep this in one stream. Wait, how do I... Ah, there you are. Oh yeah, I forgot we have that. Okay. Which means we're gonna have to go looking through a lot of... Oh, where am I? Mommy, where am I? Okay. Yeah, we're gonna have to go looking for some things. Not to get political, but remember when Paul was dick riding Mike Pence and then he turned out to stab them in the back? Pence stabbed them? Okay, there's probably gonna be like one per area. No. Drama filter, dude. Okay, yeah, this is gonna be hard finding these photos. But, yeah, I don't really remember that as well. I used 4chan, doesn't mean I used... But I didn't use every board, you know. Which I kind of regret. I should have. But... yeah. So Red pill me on the significance of this. Purple Hall? Purple Flurple? Oh. This is interesting. Like, it's probably just meant to be a reflection type of thing, but I like how these look like eyes. Pass and take. Everyone was calling him the electric fence, implying he would fry the gays with electric fences. Then he was with electricity, but then he was for the impeachment of Trump. Oh yeah, Mike Pence was like one of Trump's guys, huh? Made by Fan Kiteline. Yeah, I think if I'm gonna get a little political, I think that the right tends to forget that politicians are still politicians. And that's kind of where the Fell For It Again award meme significant has why the Fell For It Again award meme has as much significance as it does, because sometimes, yeah, they kind of fall for it again. It's because at the end of the day, they're not based trad giga chads that stick to their values and proud disciples of Senator Armstrong or something. They're just people making money that kind of flip back and forth based on whatever's going to work with their current agenda, and that's usually to make money. Yeah, just tell me the 4chud likes to mythologize political figures. They're not based, they're not your friends or politicians. Exactly. Like, yeah, we do. Sometimes we kind of need people to fight against what we see as the common enemy or the greatest enemy, but just because people disagree with those that you don't like, or agree on what you think the problem is, or what the problem actually is, does not mean they should be placed on a pedestal, because they might not be consistent in those beliefs. And I mentioned Senator Armstrong earlier, but I think Senator Armstrong is kind of a good display of that, because I think people do the same with Senator Armstrong. Like, yeah, he calls out a lot of problems, but they tend to forget that his idea of an ideal world is just Detroit, except worse. And now orphans would be kidnapped off the streets and have their brains harvested and turned into child soldiers, which, yes, it actually happened in the game. But people agree with him because he was able to call out a lot of bad things. And, like, again, he was right on that. That doesn't mean his idea of a solution was correct. Just because a movie critic can point out the problems of the movie does not mean they make a good movie. You can see this with Critical Drinker. He's just one in many who do the same thing. And I think I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of people fall into that same pitfall of, this guy agrees with me. He thinks bad people are bad. That means he is good by comparison. that means by comparison he's good. That means by comparison he is right. He looks that way by comparison. That doesn't mean he is. So that's what I think. And also, and I was able to learn this with YouTubers. They do this. Oh my goodness, do they like to do this? That's why drama YouTubers exist. Just because somebody can call out a bad thing does not mean they are a good person. Always keep that in mind. Always, always. Violence and the ability to beat up a bad guy does not mean that the person who beat them up is a good guy. Senator Armstrong was not a real guy. I think they're just dick riding him because he has muscles and a Miss American theme. Yes, probably, but I think a lot of people, like, I see a lot of support for the guy, and I start to wonder if maybe they're not. There's a little more to that than they're just saying, than they're actually saying. Fuck Drecker! Now I know why you're saying this, but I wonder if there's by kite line. But I wonder if there's another reason for it. I like this. Reminds me of the red doors in the games, but like a more naturally occurring one. Like if you were in the kind of surreal world of interior world, this is the kind of bizarre door. This is how the doors would actually operate. They would open off to the side, have a frame around them, seem a little straighter and more organized than the rest of the world around it, a little too bright. And the things just, it would be clear that things just aren't working the way they should. Like this. Spooky painting, I love it. I agree. Well, mainly just him being anti-muscle girl, but I'll shut up about it. No, it's okay. I get it because like if you have a problem with his reviews, I want to hear it. Because I have a problem with his reviews. Sometimes I think he doesn't pay attention. Like, I think not often, but I think there have been a couple of movies that he and I both watched. Not, together. I mean, like, I watched a movie that he made a review over. And he kind of isn't clear on certain things. He seems confused about certain things being the way they are. And he expresses that, and I hear him express those sentiments. But I remember that that's something they explained in the movie. And it kind of gives the impression that he just wasn't paying attention for it, maybe. And it's kind of frustrating. I think a lot of critics are like that. But that's the only other sentiment I have against him. I still think he's funny, but like as a critic, sometimes I do raise an eyebrow. I also just straight up didn't bother with The Boys season 3. Well, by that point he was blackpilled on the rest of it. He didn't like season 1 or 2. Vacancy. I like how it sticks out in the dark. I didn't watch it, but if he's gonna make a video like RT scored bad, hate that little friggin' icon on my phone. I didn't watch it, but if he's gonna make a video like RT scored bad, then he loses credibility. Oh, you mean Rotten Tomatoes? Okay. Yeah, I would kind of agree. That sounds like the logical extreme of critics just getting to the point where they summarize things on the surface instead of actually reviewing anything. Like, say, how was the foreshadowing? How good was the movie at foreshadowing something? If it attempted to foreshadow something and it didn't do it very well, then why did it fail to do so? Not just, oh, this is what happens, and he kind of does that a lot. Like, his voice is funny, but, he kind of does that a lot. I like this. The way it sticks out in the dark. I meant to highlight it. It's like a real-life save area. Freaking thermal filter. I forget I have it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, there he is. Made by fan Dindidin. I cannot tell you how much I despise that people stand on train tracks. Like, sure, if there's no train nearby, by all means, but otherwise, like, can you just not stand on the train tracks? What is your obsession with Dandadan? This here. Submitted by fan Din 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 Din. And it's the only thing I can think of that's joke-ish. Also, I want to end stream soon. Fungi. Oh, damn, Daniel! Yo, that shit's hilarious. Oh! Flight React still exists in my head. I like this one, the way this one stretches on, despite it being a very, kind of like a, how would you say this? A vertically held camera. You still see it stretch on. This one's interesting. I always like photos like this. Like, yeah, you could just say, oh, this is just something off Google Images, off Google Maps. Yeah, it's probably off Google Maps, but, it kind of has a haunting feeling to it. Seeing this, especially churches. I don't know what it is about churches. I think they're just always kind of spooky. I don't know why. Like, when they're abandoned, I don't know what it is about churches. It's just kind of haunting. But this one's nice. I don't think this one's even a church. Well, maybe there's a truck and a trailer thing here. But it definitely looks like it's very clear this one's abandoned. But I wonder if there's any greater meaning, like, religion being left behind in the modern day. No photos or videos allowed. Okay, I see it. I'm gonna ruin it with Germa, but I like this. This is the exhibit. This is the art piece itself. Just this corridor, this red hallway, and somebody staring out into the sky. It makes me wonder. Hey, wait a minute. Isn't that the shadow guy? Has he been considering leaving and he's just not sure, or maybe he wants to get out? But the nothingness and openness, all the opportunity and all the danger of an immediate pitfall stops him from it. He's maybe not sure if it's worth the consequences. All the benefits and all the consequences attached. Very interesting. I like it. Well, that was funny the way that made it, I thought it was funny the way the sign made it imply you need to crash into the building. I didn't even notice that. That is pretty that's pretty funny, actually. I didn't even pay attention to that, but that's pretty funny. My fan Solace Raptor. My baby legs. Too short. Yu-nee, if you just kind of stop floating with your knees in the floor, you'll be tall enough to see the painting properly. But then everyone will think I'm a tall weirdo, little brother. I can't stand the way they look at me with such hateful eyes for being different. You're not diff. Doesn't matter. They would hate you no matter what. I like your differences. They're beautiful in my eyes. Just like the rest of you. I like this. I can't see this very well, but I'm sorry. I'm not getting much from this one. Though I like the white borders, they kind of make it look like an old photo. Any anime Rex? No. I've been trying to push myself to get through Tropical Rogue Pretty Cure, and I still have not made progress. I was in the 20s, and like, I think I should just drop it. It's 50 episode long anime is just so unpleasant for me to push myself through. Like, it looks like such a tall mountain to climb that I never want to climb it. This makes you think of something in like the Haunted Mansion. I like it. But I did watch Red Ranger in Another World. Or Isekai Red Ranger, I don't remember what it was exactly, but just look up Red Ranger Isekai and you'll find it. It's about, you know, like a Power Rangers type of guy. A 50 plus anime I'm watching is Uninhabited Planet Survive. How is that one? But yeah, Isekai Red Ranger is kind of funny. I'd recommend that one. Why the divide in colors between technology? Seems like one is so much more advanced than the other, but the emphasis of the use of the color black gives it this foreboding feeling. This one's nice. I like this one. Not much to it, I don't think. It definitely gives it that gateway kind of impression. Nearby fan kite line. Oh, it's a heart. Oh, that's cute. That one's pretty. Nature loves you back. I'll try it out, but I have kind of sour taste in my mouth. These guys right now with Cautious Hero being so bad. How can I sell you on Isekai Red Ranger? I think I can do it too. Okay. So, think about Seiya as a character. Describe his qualities. Write it down on paper if you have to. He's like really cautious, farms experience, cares about power above all else, doesn't really care that much about people. I think Red was different. Almost a polar opposite in terms of a polar opposite kind of hero. In the sense that Red will throw himself into anything if it means saving even just one person. If it means helping you one person. He cares a lot about people. He's dummy strong, and if he's not strong enough, he'll find a way. And he also rizzes girls, too. Because not only is he handsome, but he's just so dang masculine in a positive way, and so wholesome about it, that he kind of just does it. It's like, it's very goofy and campy, but it's a kind of like stereotype kind of hero that pumps up all the good qualities to an 11 to the point where they are a complete joke, but the good qualities are still good qualities. So I think if you want to watch an isekai, but you want something that's about an overpowered person, but that's still funny, try Red Ranger and you might like it. Is Red a nice lad? He is the sweetest, most wholesome Chungus, the purest human being you will ever see. He is a hero's hero. He is like the Red type of hero, but without the short temper. He is just... he's perfect. I think you're really gonna like Red, but he's also really funny too. He's not like Superman, he's like a Power Ranger or Kamen Rider type of guy. Hence the term Red Ranger. Red being the opposite of Seiya is already a good point. Okay, good. I managed to sell you on that at least. Like, maybe not Seiya's polar opposite. A polar opposite would be like Seiya, Red's qualities, but a villain. That would be like polar opposite of Seiya. But like, almost the opposite. almost the opposite, but within the realm of, you know, hero characters. The ticket booth? What are these doing here? Very out of place. But yeah, I think you'd like Red Ranger. Just watch a single episode of it and tell me what you think about it. And if you don't like it, you don't have to watch the rest. But I think you're gonna I think you're gonna like it. It was so funny. Oh my gosh, I want to be done and over with Pretty Cure so I can watch Red Ranger race. Oh, it's such a funny show. Like, I don't remember the jokes off the top of my head, but I think you'll like them. I really like this piece. The one with the booths or the one with the trees? I think chat might be a little behind. This one's really spooky. I think these are like solar panels, but it's odd. There's an odd kind of... If I'm getting it right and these are solar panels, then there's an odd contrast here. As if nature has blocked any sort of sunlight that these can receive. And I guess the impression you're meant to get is that it's almost very different from that one over there, in the sense that nature's actually trying to work against whoever set these up. The one with the trees. Ah, okay. Yeah, there's like kind of hostility there. This one looks like a movie poster. Submitted by fan Damn Daniel. Nature is a yandere. No. You need to rely on my flame for light. And I think less than a yandere type of thing. I think nature's just trying to straight up kill it. Kill humanity. Or yeah, I guess if you think about the heart thing, it does seem pretty yandere-ish. This one's nice. 3 levels, 3 doors. The sun illuminating all, but some more than others. And yet the lights being blue at the end of the top floor, despite the lighting here. It gives the impression that there's like different things you can expect. An easy lit road to travel on, and yet the end of it is a little more dim. A dark, perhaps painful path to tread, but with a light at the end. And this one, very... not more mysterious, but perhaps equally lit. Almost like difficulty levels. If you like liminal spaces, you should watch Barton Fink. It's a very weird but interesting movie. I should. How easy is it to get a hold of this movie? Van Kiteline. It's the speakers guy. Ah, he really was like the modern kind of Slender Man, and well, maybe not the modern Slender Man. It doesn't encapsulate all the values, but I did like how Speakerhead, that was his name, right? Seemed like something that could blend in with natural environments. You'd have a hard time telling him apart from trees. But with the modern irony internet culture, they kind of ruined him. And so, like, all the similarities and similar vibes he could communicate to Slenderman were kind of lost, which sucks. But I think it's kind of interesting. Reminds you of that. What's that up there? Oh, there's like stuff. That's a stuffed bear. I was gonna be like, dang, this tree kind of freaking. No, I'm joking. Somebody just left their stuffed bear up there. Probably the photographers, but you know, kind of cute. It's like a bear standing in a tree. Once again, childhood innocence left out in the cold. Siren Head, that was the one. There's probably a DVD out there somewhere. Okay, so if it's not like super rare, I could just get it off eBay. Siren Head is kind of ruined with him being so tall, in my opinion. Like, he's straight up kaiju sized. That's true, but I think he can still shine if you... in a certain way. If you put him in the right setting. Like, just put him in a forest, and then he's scary again. He's scarier. This one I can't see too well. These are too high up. But I think it's like a sign. Not like by fan kite line. Through that. I'm glad you agree, because I don't know, like Siren Head has a vibe to him. But it's easy to lose that vibe after you've seen so many edits of like Siren Head, Friday Night Funkin', Siren Head, Gangnam Style dance. Like, I mean, this is an old meme by now, but still, it was getting off the ground, and then it was kind of ruined by the mainstream. Godzilla versus Siren Head. Godzilla. I don't even have to think about that one. The Siren Head could make noises, but Godzilla's like too stupidly taller. It depends, though. I think he has a different size in certain things, like the one where he's dancing or the one where he's standing over a city makes him look more foreboding. But I think you'd have to go back to his original painting, and he's like definitely tall enough to be about a siren, on the same level as like a siren pole type of thing. But Godzilla is a lot taller than that. Siren Head in the back room's entity the internet just loves putting anywhere. Yeah, they do. Kind of annoying. Like, I miss sincerity, because yeah, sure, sincerity brought cringe with it. Like, I don't know, creepy pasta boy yaoi, but like the Slender Man and Jeff the Killer making out and having their toxic yaoi relationship. But it brought good things with it too. But now with irony, you have entertainment, but that's all you get. And it's frustrating, because sometimes, yes, I want to feel other emotions. Crazy, but yeah, I do. I want to feel like I'm in the buffet, feeling the range of what is offered to me. Not one food. Oh, you get a slop. Exactly. Like, yeah, some of these memes are kind of funny, but I want to feel other things. I've seen some of these, like, little stone things. I wonder what they are. This is a nice landscape. This is the kind of place where I'd put a Fumo. And while the Fumo does kind of take away from it, if you arrange it just right, Fumos are nice little set pieces. They should use a Fumo for some of these Innocence Lost type of settings. Now this one's really interesting. I like this one. The purple gives a very natural feel to it. I love purple as a color. I like how purple can kind of communicate different things. And normally in like Nintendo or Sonic games or whatever, like kids games, it's always like the darkness element color, but other times it's for technology or poison, things like that. This one's spooky, and there's this light that leads out, but just more purple, almost like it's meant to deceive anybody who might be on the dark side of this. Purple is the dark foreboding color, is a Japanese thing. Good purple painting. Wish I could write horror. Horror is, I don't blame you. Horror is difficult. You need very good use of foreshadowing. You need very, very good use of foreshadowing. You really got to know what you're doing with horror, but there's a lot of... It takes a lot. I think that's kind of why a lot of horror movies weren't good, because it's just a naturally difficult genre to do anything right with. You need to slow burn things and have a good alternation between a slow burn and a jump scare, and balance the two extremes. A lean Grimace Shake joke. I miss the lean and Grimace Shake as a meme, but also the food, because oh my goodness, Grimace Shake was so good. Oh, have you ever tried it? It was delicious. Oh, it was like a berry type of flavor, but ooh, I drank so many of them. But yes, purple is dark foreboding color is Japanese thing. It is, yeah. But, you know, like, it can communicate different things, and I like that. I actually have toyed around with the idea of making Yu-nee purple, but I have shot that idea down pretty quickly every time because I want to give off the impression that Yu-nee is, like, torn between... I'm gonna analyze these really quick, and then I'll get back to my Yu-nee topic, because these might take me a little bit, but that was interesting. Nice bit of red here, some purple in the lights. I'd be very scared in this tunnel. Subway. Stretching onwards. Now this one's... If you just had the rest of the subway, like, perch yourself in this corner, and then take a picture of the rest of the subway, that would be a really good liminal space. This, however, is good enough. I think this looks really nice. I had played around... I have not tried the Grimace Shake. You missed out, dude. I have one in my freezer right now that I've saved for the rainiest of days. My last Grimace Shake. Frozen forever. I really keep forgetting I even have, but yeah, I have a Grimace Shake, and I feel sad. I don't want to drink it because then I'll miss the Grimace Shake forever. But like, you should try it, dude. It was so good. I had played around with melanated Ayako, but I already think she's perfect. Don't let it rot. It's frozen. It is frozen solid. And it has been there for 2 years now. You think I should get rid of it? You think it's not moldy, but like, maybe I should get rid of it because I heard mold freeze is the thing. I played around with melanated Ayako. Still think that can rot. You know what? Maybe. You might be right. I'm also kind of debating on taking a picture of it and saying to the internet, "Look, guys, I found the secret menu at McDonald's. They still have the Grimace Shake," but I think the ship has sailed for that a long time ago, and I don't have the reach for it. Nobody's gonna see that. But it would be so funny. But I don't think that's possible for me. Also, I would fall with melanated Ayako, but I do kind of agree. The thing a lot of artists on Twitter don't want to realize or bring themselves to admit is that do what I will try, and there will be a FUMO, is that brown is still the color on, you know, darker skinned people, obviously, but it's difficult to mix that in with other characters, and I think that's partially why Japanese, you know, anime and manga and such have such light-skinned characters, because, you know, Japanese people can be dark-skinned too, but how well does this mesh from an artistic perspective with, like, pink hair, blue hair? You know, how good does brown look next to the color purple? Now, for a character like Ayako, I think she could actually look kind of good if you keep the brown a little bit tame, a little toned, and maybe slightly fade out the green. It can give her a very, very natural appearance. If you give her like an auburn or caramel type hair color, she can look really good. But I don't blame you for wanting to be careful about it, because that's very difficult to achieve. It's very, like, whatever effects you want for this are difficult to achieve. Brown characters look good if they're originally designed as brown. Exactly. And that's why what a lot of people don't seem to realize whenever they just blackwash anime characters, because no, Deku was not designed... Izuku Midoriya was not designed to be brown. Denji was not designed to be brown. His colors were not made with brown skin in mind. Characters like that one white-haired lady from that one Gundam anime, that one recent-ish, I can't think of many brown characters off the top of my head, but she looks good because those artists knew they wanted to make a brown character, and they knew how they played around with the colors, they played around with the contrast, all of that stuff. But that doesn't quite hold up as well if you just take another character and just make them brown. And there's an artistic perspective thing going on here. Like, you have to think about how this is actually going to look, and if you just put in whatever colors you want because you want them, then it doesn't always achieve the same effect. And I learned this with Yu-nee. And there's a lot of stuff to teach you this, but I think Yu-nee taught me this as well when I wanted to make her purple. Yes, I could make her purple, but how is that going to clash with the teal color of her sweater, the white of her apron, and the white of her hair? What impression is this gonna give off? Well, purple is kind of, like an evil color sometimes. She might look evil, so I might have to darken all the other colors around it just so this fits, but now she might look evil. If I lighten the purple, it'll still look in place. It won't look out of place. But now she won't have that kind of ghostly blue to her anymore, and it'll be harder to tell that she is indeed a ghost. Like, these colors have meaning, especially when you pair them with other colors. And I think a lot of artists don't realize that. So what was I talking about? I was talking about Ayako. Well, I think Ayako kind of taught you that as well. But in Ayako's case, I think you can make it work. She already has green, and she already has brown for her hair, brown for her uniform. Like, she has very natural colors. You can make it work on Ayako. You can easily make it work on Ayako. Was I good about staying on topic? I think I was, but I feel like I was-ish. And it led me nicely into the Yu-nee topic, but at the same time, I don't think I was. But I hope I got the idea across. Brown hairs, I think you're right, but I think it's not impossible to make good-looking brown hairs with blue hair and stuff, and I agree. I have seen them. It's very rare that I've seen, like, indie artists pull this off well, but it has happened. It does exist. You have to play around with shades of brown, with good shading, good lighting, good light work, good line work, and all that. It's very possible. It's just, it takes some extra work. And I think that's something some Twitter artists haven't come to realize. Because admittedly, a lot of them are still beginners, I feel like if you could see my hand motions, that would be a way of doxing myself. If anybody recognizes the way I move my hands on stream, they know, oh, I know who that guy is. I think your Fred Bell's thing is some takes are pretty good, like some of the international Mikus. I agree. Some of them, the teal does work well, especially when they tweak it around. Maybe look a little softer, a little darker. Running away from the vor. I think I'm gonna go the opposite as well. Like, light skin Sahira would look like bleh. I think light skin Sahira could work because light skin is just kind of a catch-all. It works with just about everything, but it definitely would not give those same impressions that Sahira's dark skin give you. It would not look as exotic. She wouldn't look as Egyptian. Like, you could still give her those, say, decorations, clothes, traits. But by making her light-skinned, you would no longer make her look like that's native to her, because it wouldn't carry... You wouldn't be using the right colors to carry those cultural connotations and to communicate them to the viewer. You would instead look like some Egyptaboo cosplayer. I think it could work, yes. And she would look fine. But you made the right choice giving her brown skin. I would encourage you to play around with a darker skin Ayako. Like, just darken it a little bit. Egyptaboo cosplay. Sometimes I cook. But I think I would encourage you to play around with Ayako just to do it and see if you can learn anything from, like, color. If you can learn any kind of color theory stuff from it. Because I think that could be a good learning experience. I would say it's worth it. Now, for the painting, this one's interesting. It's very scary, and I wonder why these track kids are running from this, and why this person who's about to trip is the one who looks the least natural. Maybe it's like an you're already dead type of thing. These are the ones that I think communicate less meaning or just, you know, very simple, straightforward paintings. Or maybe they are meant to convey something that I'm not picking up on. It might be very personal for the original creator. Like somebody's doesn't have much of an identity. Everyone else is running. They probably see that mouth, but this is a person who is missing something. And the fact that both of these two have this unnatural quality means there must be well, it tells me they must be connected in some way. But if this person's about to trip over a rock, they're about to run into some consequences. Perhaps they're trying to fill this void. I have no face and I must run from the amazing digital circus. Speaking of thoughts on that, to be honest, I don't think this has much to do with interior worlds. It doesn't. These are just like cool fan art pieces. Oh, yeah, you're right. I'm not sure why these are here. It's a penis! I'm sorry. Maybe this is like the strange creature following him? Or a little monkey. Yeah, I guess this is like a Midnight Fan clown tuber. I'd watch that. Midnight Fan has Asinla. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Or like, hey bro, can you include my art in your game? Yeah, kind of. It does feel that way a little bit. This one kind of feels like it's vaguely related because of the camera, but not that much. And then maybe the creature following him. But I agree, not that much. Also, is that a reference to the famous VTuber frick. No, I don't remember the name of the clown VTuber I was thinking of. The green hair one. So amazing Digital Circus. I have not watched Digital Circus in like forever. Strubly, that is haunting. Nice editing though. Like I can kind of tell it's fake, and that's what gets me a little bit. I'd like it if the editing job was better, but I do like that you have this basic idea of a door out in the middle of nowhere. That kind of concept has still always scared me ever since I first heard about it, you know, with the like stairs out in the middle of a forest. Something clearly man-made and yet existing without anything to support it, without any extra structure. Just purely on its own in a place where it's not supposed to still scares me to this day. And this is like an impression of what you would see if you went through it. Name is VTuber, forget the VTuber name. Yeah, might be. I'm gonna head to sleep, and I think, good night, good stream. Alright, thanks for coming along. I think I'm gonna go to bed too. Take a nap and think about my waifu. Because I am sleepy deepy, and frankly, I don't know if, what do you want to, if you're still there. Oh, hey, it's like the demon from Smile. I want to ask you something. If you're still there, should I pick up the next stream where I left off with this one, or should we just kind of, I don't know. What do you think? I think we should pick up where we left off. This one's cool, I think. I can't see it as well. I like this one. The art pieces. I like these arts. Yeah, you can pick it up at the next stream. Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll be able to stream next weekend. Ooh. Something happened here. Probably just demolition. But yeah, because this looks like it's gonna take a little longer than I had expected. So might have to. Let's chill. So I fan Kusman. Alright. So now that I have that answer, thank you for coming along to the stream. I want to say, like, tell me what you think about unit design and stuff, but, like, I haven't really shown you any reference material. I've been taking version 3, and I'm playing around with tweaking that one around some more to maybe see if I can kind of combine the vibes of version 2 and 3 of Yuna's design, but we'll have to see. I don't know. I've been considering ditching the jacket, but the jacket is more important than I think people realize. It's what sets her apart from a mom, and what lets you know that, yes, she's young enough to wear a hoodie. Like, there's a reason, say, Frankie Foster wore a hoodie, and that's so that you could tell that she's a young adult at a glance. But anyway, we're looking forward to Museum Arc Part 2. Me too. Show me some on Discord, and I'll give you my thoughts on there. Alright, if I have anything done, I'll show you. My biggest concern is whether or not she'll look like a ghost, but I'm not going to keep you on here much longer. Thank you for coming along to stream. I hope you enjoyed. If anybody else is watching the VOD, I hope you enjoyed as well. Thank you all so much for coming along tonight. Hope you had fun, and from Big Sister, have a good night. Yes, me. Oh, and I hope you liked the increased transparency this time as well.